Welcome back to One of One PLLRS Podcast. I'm honored today, beyond honored today, to be sitting down with one of the legends of the music industry, Chris Gotti, co-founder of Murder Inc. and entrepreneur extraordinaire.
Man, Reggie, thank you for having me.
No, you're.
It's a great place
appreciate
here.
you
This is a
pulling up.
great space you're in here.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you pulling up.
Yeah.
It's wild because and we're going to have these conversations, but I've had conversations or seen conversations around you, or had conversations with our mutual acquaintance, Benny Pugh, and
Shout out Benny.
shout out Benny, and it's like you guys lived through these moments of my life that I could pinpoint where I was, where all these things were happening, when this
Yeah.
song dropped, where this music video dropped.
We don't have that vibe today. Do you feel that today?
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
I don't know, man. I think music has that effect on people, but I don't feel the impact of the music, and I love the music these kids are making today. Make sure that's clear, but I don't feel the impact from the label side, the push.
The hand guiding.
Yeah. It's just a different day and age.
I feel like it's the speed, and I don't know how to break that down exactly, because you used to live with music.
Yeah.
It would take you a while to make it, and we would wait patiently for it, and then when it came out, we would live with the album.
That's right.
It would be I remember Carter 2 was the soundtrack to one of my summers, graduation.
Little Wheezy.
Yeah. And I remember, the whole culture around just music videos. I remember where I was, where
MTV just stopped music videos. Is that crazy?
It's tragic. I remember exactly where I was where Ja dropped Clapback.
Yes.
I was sitting in my dorm room when he dropped that, and I remember that. That was like a moment.
It was a lot. Man, it was just so much different. And the way these kids consume the music or the videos today is so fast. That's why you're saying that. Like, we would make an album and we knew we would control a fiscal year of our music because of just 3-4 songs on that album. That's it. That's how long each song would last. And that consumption today is nothing like that. Like you better have albums ready for a year in 1 year, 2-3 albums in 1 year. That's a lot of consumption of music and the ideas and the thoughts that go into those records.
Do you
like
think
you
the
said,
quality went down because it's like so fast now?
The quality in the sense of, I don't want, look, like I said, I love these kids' music today. Huge Little Dirk fan, free Little Dirk. But at the end of the day, speed always, you have to sacrifice something when you do something fast. You're going to miss something with speed, and that's today. They're so fast to make the records. I'll go to the studio with a new artist today, and they'll make 5 songs, 6 songs in one night. And the sad part about it is that's what everyone's doing today. You're going to miss things moving at that speed and rate.
When you guys were curating and overseeing the music industry and the production of music, I've heard other executives say things like there was a reason like gatekeeping was a thing. A lot of people categorize it as bad, but a lot of people look at it like it was quality control.
Well, it is, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that's the problem with gatekeeping or that form of business. But if it's done correctly, there is a value in it that we don't have today. It's just the changing of the times. I don't look at it as like when we was in that era, when we're in that era back before in my era there, it is what it is, and today it is what it is. There's no figuring it out because technology changed, evolved the game. It evolved everything. And it's about the technology, right? We can't stop technology. We cannot stop AI right now. We cannot do it. It has a life of its own, and it's going to evolve and get even better at what it does, which will negate everything that we did in our era. It'll change it completely. So how do you look at something that is just what it is? Like I said, I cannot change today. Meaning I can't say, let's go back to the way it was. It's impossible because of technology. There's the advancement of our civilization and culture, it is what it is. Now, is it for the better or worse? Only time will tell. Okay, I have mixed opinions on technology. It's here for one purpose, though, to better our lives. That's what technology's about, to make your life easier. If you use any technology, your phone, whatever it is, it was to advance and make your life easier than it was before. So AI is that same thing today, and we'll see where it takes us.
I mean, to your point, technology does make our lives easier and it does help with convenience, but the speed of that, like, you lose or you leave things behind.
In speed, like I said, you make a mistake, you miss something with speed in anything you do. When you rush through something, life has shown us that. Now, technology, did AI fix that? Because now they can move faster. That's the question, and it'll be a decision, or it will be decided later. It won't be decided right now. That's how I look at it, because, in the test of time, from a business standpoint, right? The rate and the speed of which I could take something and make something should generate more revenue. If I could make, at the rate we did to make an album, let's just say one album, and the time it took, I could have did 10, 20 albums today. Technically, just theoretically thinking about it, I should make more with that many more albums. That's how I look at it. So from a business standpoint versus what we get personally from the way we made the music, like you said, that connection. Yeah. You lose that.
I feel like
so
that's
the question is, which is, it's like chicken or the egg, what came first? Which is more valuable to you or to the overall business of what we're doing? And that's the game we're going to find out in the long term. There's these record labels are placing a wager with AI companies to make and create music. Let's look. Let me put on my CEO hat and explain why that's okay. I don't have to deal with an artist.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with lateness. Artists not showing up. I don't have to deal with
personalities.
All of those egotistical issues artists carry. That's what I don't have to deal with. Versus, go ahead, let me hear it. What's the positive side? The originality. I really believe AI will be completely original. Think about what I'm saying. Like, it learns as it goes. When you understand AI, how it works, it's growing as we speak. It's just like the movies we watch with some of those computer movies, in that machine is learning and growing. AI is learning. That's what it's doing. And it's the reason, in my opinion, it will probably be forget music, but in the medical field, it might cure every disease. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Right? Because of the rate it learns and how many times it could run that problem and answer it. And it'll get to the answer. And that is the difference. That's what AI is about to do. I really believe in a 5-year, 10-year span, there will be no more diseases. It'll be all cured. if they want to give it to the people.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. How do they make money off
doctor, it will answer every problem that we have because it'll just keep running it. It's a super brain. It's like an unbelievable super brain and superpower.
But don't you feel like those imperfections are what make the art or the artist great? Like those, whether they're neurotic
I do stuff with other fields outside of music. I never feel technology will replace a human being. I never feel that way. It will be a tool we use to make us better at what we do, whatever it is that we do. That's what we should look at it. I was just out in Amsterdam for the Septimius Awards, and all the actors and actresses out there are nervous. The filmmaking, the film industry is nervous about AI, just like the music industry. And again, I asked the question. I said, I want to use Denzel, one of my favorite actors, right? But I know he wouldn't do it. Shout out Denzel. What up, boy? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, imagine Denzel, and I'm a filmmaker, and I go to Denzel and I say, I want to license your name. I want to NIL you, name, image, and likeness for this purpose, for this movie. Here's the script. You like it? Yes? Okay. And I make that movie in 2 days, 1 day, without Denzel. His name, image, and likeness, his voice, his image, everything. He could be a consultant on it and say, I'm cool with all of that. Done. Now, I could make 1,000 Denzels. Now, is that better for Denzel or not? From a financial standpoint, it doesn't even compare. From a movie standpoint, I have no liability issues, right? When you make a movie, the insurance you have to pay to cover these big actors to show up and make sure they're going to produce and be there, it's huge. Huge. All gone. No more money spent. So there's a lot of positive on the flip side. Now, whoever that gatekeeper is, whoever makes those rules and laws that are going to get passed to do these things is going to be very important, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. If they keep it fair, it probably will be a very positive event. Without worrying about an actor showing up or not, it's going to get done in a very short amount of time and look amazing.
I think that's great for like a Denzel kind of actor, but if you could just generate an AI artist or AI actor, why would you even want to cast someone? So your Leonardo DiCaprios might be great because, like, they're going to license their images. But if you're a new up-and-coming artist or a new up-and-coming actor, it might be harder for you because
it's the new challenge.
Yeah.
It's, again, this is a paradigm shift. We're inside of a paradigm shift. Every paradigm shift is a new challenge. And here we are. This is a new challenge. We had so many paradigm shifts already. We're just dealing with another one. So this is what we have to understand. And in pivot, you have to be very flexible. Again, if you're a new actor, again, this is how do you get the relevancy, right? It's the same question, just in a little bit more of a complicated form. I think we'll figure it out.
So I think maybe your comfort is you've seen a lot of paradigm shifts. The original, if I'm correct, your original project or company with your brother Irv was Top Dog Productions.
Oh, yeah. Top Dog Productions. Shout out Irv. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Top Dog Productions was his production company, which I ran for him. And it was just, we made music, produced music for all these different artists. That's how Irv really originally started. His production name was just DJ Irv. That's his original DJ name. So it's DJ Irv. So a record was produced by DJ Irv for Top Dog Productions.
And how did that original vision or idea for Top Dog Productions morph into what became Murder Inc.?
Well, you know, that's the story I always tell everyone because they always say, how did Irv or you and Irv start Murder Inc.? And I'm like, we didn't. It kind of took a natural form. Irv just wanted to be the biggest producer in the game, and that's exactly what he became before Murder Inc. happened. And then, because he was on that trajectory, Tom Mottola said, hey, let me give you a record label. He told us he wanted to buy 4 Beats, which would have been $1 million for the 4 Beats. We was getting $250,000 a beat, and it ended up not being. He didn't want a beat. He sent Dave McPherson to us and said he doesn't want to buy beats. He wants to give you a record label, and we didn't even expect it. We was just, again, tunnel vision, head down, and we wanted to just keep cranking out hits as a producer, and and that's what we was doing. And next thing you know, they offered us a record label, and it was like, wow, okay. Then we had to figure out what the name of the label was going to be. Irv was watching Arts and Entertainment, A&E channel. It was with Gangsta Week, and there it was right in front of him. Murder Inc., which is like Lucky Luciano, Albert Anastasia. These guys formed a group called Murder Inc. in the Mafia, but the Mafia was making hits, aka we make hits.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's really where it came from. It was that simple, and he went crazy when he seen it. Like, that's the name. I still remember that so vividly because it was such a big moment, because we get a record label, we have no name, we're asking Ja to figure out a name, everyone, BJ, everyone, figure out a name. And we all came up with different names, and when he was watching that, he didn't like, no one said that's the name when we came up with names. And then when he seen that, he went crazy. That's it, it's Murder Inc. He loves the double entendre. The gangster shit and the we make hits. That's what we do. We make hits.
I remember the Murder Inc. era like super vividly.
Yeah.
You were integral, if not like solely responsible for the logistics and building out the infrastructure of Murder Inc.
Irv's the vision of everything. Irv's my little brother. He's the one with the talent to produce. And I just made sure, my job was to make sure Irv gets whatever he needed. Because I knew if I did that, we'll be successful. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
I knew if I could help my brother get what he needs, nothing's stopping us, because we're relentless. He's relentless, I'm relentless. There's nothing going to stop us because of that pursuit that we have. And, we run through walls. When they put walls up, we run through them or around them. We run under them. We run over them. We're going to figure it out. And that's just the mindset we had our whole lives. So just imagine when I put all of these talented people in front of him, and with his talent, it's magic.
What were some of the challenges in building out the infrastructure of Murder Inc. when you guys first started out?
Hindsight's 20/20, but the reality is I didn't even look at it in that. I didn't look, again, maybe it's the ignorance of being uneducated from only high school and not even thinking about anything. I never looked at it as a challenge like that. I just looked at it as, I looked at what's missing and let me fill that gap. That's it. There's a flaw. We need this. Okay, let's get, who does that? Where's that at? The questions just start coming, gives me my answer. Next thing I plug it in, and we got the solution. It was never like the challenge of, oh my God. When I look back, I'm 58. No one talks about this stuff. Irv is in our height, 20. We're talking about 20 plus years. We're in our 30s, running a 9-figure business from zero with no education, going through a federal indictment, dealing with the government in our 30s. Nah, you can't fucking do that, man. It's not a chance that you could just put someone in that. I never even thought of it from that perspective till someone brought it up to me maybe about 6 months ago. And I was like, man, that's crazy. You know, I don't know how old you are, but
Yeah. No, I'm 38.
38. We was younger than that. So we're early 30s. With all that pressure is what I'm really talking about.
I think maybe because you didn't look at it as a challenge is why you guys were so successful. You didn't look at the problems. You were just focused on the solutions and moving forward.
You know, I'll never forget. It reminds me of the day we went and seen Michael Jackson. He wanted beats from Irv. And we're in his, and we're going through, Mike is going through everything. It's one of my favorite days in music with Mike and Irv at the Netherlands, at his house. And we're just, Irv and him are going through everything. And Mike didn't realize we was brothers until we're in front of him. He said, wait a minute, you guys are brothers? And he starts crying. And and I only laugh. Shout out Michael Jackson, man. I only laugh because Irv's response. He's like, Mike is like, don't ever let nothing get between you. You and him, please promise me. And Irv looked at Mike, what the fuck are you talking about? That response is how come we built what we built. We never looked at nothing except for the win.
Yeah.
All of this stuff in between, and the win is where we're going, and okay, what is it going to take to get there? And that's all we thought about. And when he said that, it reminds me, because when you asked me that question, it reminds me that day, because that's what Irv was telling Mike. Like, ain't nothing, fuck out of here. That has nothing to do with the win, right? We're brothers. It only makes it better. And man, that day was a crazy day. Michael went through laughing, crying, every emotion a human could go through. Michael Jackson went through that day. Irv was Irv at the highest level. And the one thing I told Irv when we're on a helicopter going to the Netherlands, I said, I don't care what happens. I said, you look that man in his eyes. Because, at that time, his nose was a little disfigured and stuff. And I said, I don't care what you do, don't you look him in his eyes, man. Irv looked that man in his eyes, had him crying, laughing, everything that day. And, I always wondered if Mike recorded any of the music we left with him. Because we didn't know. We was in the process of everything, and then it never got finalized.
Wow. That's just having that moment in of itself. Like, even if the music didn't come out, it has to be amazing. You guys are so tied in to so many moments in music history. Yeah. I was a passenger in the car. My brother's in the car. He's the driver. And I'm the back seat watching, or on this passenger seat watching. And it was an amazing ride. Amazing ride. I had all these meetings and people and celebrities, and you get to know personally. And I never overstepped my bounds. Irv is my little brother, but I make sure he got what he wanted. That's it. That's amazing.
Yeah. It was never about, this is what I want to do. It's funny. I tell basketball players and football players, and I said, everything you want comes from one thing: the sport you're playing. Everything you want. Michael Jordan got everything he wants. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, they all have everything they want because they played that game, that one thing. I get everything I want because I could help my brother. I don't have to think about everything else. That's what I'm saying. People get caught up in thinking they got to do all of these things. It all comes to you naturally when you're great at one thing. It all comes. Think of any artist, everybody. Everything they got came from one thing: rapping. Jay-Z, rapping. Kanye, rapping. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything comes from that. If they don't kill that one thing, it's very challenging to do the second.
I think people now feel like they have to do everything. Like, I think when you look at the biggest stars or the biggest acts,
people
it's
say
a
this
team.
all the time. I deal with that all the time, and it's probably one of the biggest misconceptions because people think they could do everything. I don't know one person that could do everything. You can't name one. Steve Jobs only could make Apple. Now, once he does Apple, if he chose to do anything else, it's because he has a team of people that could facilitate doing everything else. Yeah. I use Jay-Z all the time as an example because he has a team of people. Shout out OG Juan, Desiree, that build out everything else. He comes up with the idea, and then they work. And he got lawyers, and But what got him there? Yeah. He wasn't thinking about nothing but being the best at what he did was rap. Then everything started coming to him. Okay, I could do that. You guys set that up. You set that up. And Dame was a big part in the very beginning. Yeah. But this is how everything facilitated. He had a team. He says it in one of his raps. If you told me I was going to sell clothes, you understand? Mm-hmm. He was focused on killing the game as a rapper. And everything came. Kanye West, Through the Wire. He's spitting. He wants to be a producer, rapper. He's killing it, producing, killing it, rapping. Everything else comes from there. Now he got ideas. He got a team. But with success, you could get a team. Early days, go ahead, try and do 2, 3 things. Go ahead. You can't. The time it takes to kill one, you won't have it.
I would imagine because you guys were the infrastructure or the support around the artists you worked with. So I see a lot of artists now that feel like they're bigger than the team, bigger than the program, and then I see artists that work well with their teams and allow them to build and support them. If you look at what, for example, Beyonce is able to do with her team and her network.
Yeah.
How integral
Shout out
is,
B.
Yeah, how integral
Amazing.
is team to where artists is and how well they work along with their team in terms of their long-term success?
At Murder Inc., we always had one of the main philosophies was one voice, one vision. Irv was that. When we had a meeting, this is the direction we're going. Whether we could voice your opinion. He could pivot from that, but it's his voice, his vision. Again, people would always say that, and I'm like, but if you understand that, what that dynamic does is like, if you got 10 people, I'm gonna use Leor. He had an analogy that he said that works. That is 1,000% right. I just put my spin on it from the one voice, one direction. He was saying we're pushing this boulder up this hill. And when you're behind the boulder, you don't know what the top is. But once you get there, guess what happens? The boulder could get to the top, and then it's going to roll down, and it's less pressure. It's easier to move that boulder. But as you pushing, it's hard as hell. He said every hand has to be on the boulder. So if you have a team, we have to all have our hand on that boulder, pushing that boulder. It will get easier once the hill levels out and it's no longer uphill. Or it goes downhill, meaning not downhill in a negative way, but in an easier. You're moving faster now, like you're making more. And that's what we thought. One voice, one direction. Whether you disagreed or not, put your fucking hand on that boulder and let's push. Let's get it up this hill. Once we made a decision, so we would have our meetings and everyone has their voice and could talk, and Irv respected the people that he respects. And things could change or things would stay which way he was going, and then that was it. Let's go. I look at that for every artist, and it's just you mentioned like she's the voice, she's the direction. Beyonce, that's her vision, and now she might have people she respects, and that could pivot her thoughts with information and knowledge, and she could switch it. But it's still gonna be she has to be the one to say that's what I want to do. It's her brand, it's her who was so. When you say the way the artist works with their team, it's all personality. Each one is individual. The way they just deal with people. We don't all deal with people the same, so why would you deal with your team? It's just individuality, how I look at it. And as a team member, if you're a team member, I was a team member, right? You had to deal with everyone's egos. It's just part of human nature. You got to deal with their dynamic of who they are as a person. It just happened to be Irv, the person I raised, so I understand him at the highest level. No one knew Irv better than me. I mean, everything. No one knew him better. That's it. So it was easier for me personally. Because if you don't know him, it might be a little more challenging. So if that was the case, 9 times out of 10, I was the one talking to you to make you understand him better. Because you couldn't talk. He's going to be like, who you what? You know? And that's probably the same for most artists in that position, or leader in that position. Now I'm a leader in different industries of my businesses, but I understand it. Why? Because I was a hell of a, Indian.
Yeah.
And I'm a hell of a chief as well. So I understand both roles.
So there are a ton of moments that we could go over that happened, and I still want to talk about them. But one of the things that comes to mind for me right now are the things that almost happened. What made me think about it was when you mentioned Michael Jackson. So I know about the story, the almost story in regards to Nas, right?
Shout out Nas.
Yeah.
Esco, what up?
How close were you guys to that, and what almost happened that just didn't come into fruition?
On the flip side, I don't know why it didn't technically. I just know it didn't. And we was very close to getting it done. We was in the middle of talking deal with Nas and Steve Stout, and bring him over. Stout was the original person that brought the idea to Irv. It wasn't like Irv said, hey, I want to sign Nas again. It wasn't like he started murdering. He didn't want to go. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to start Nas. But Steve Stout brought the deal to him. And Irv, I remember him being very excited about it, but had mixed emotions because of the relationship with Jay-Z at the time. And they had beef, Nas and Jay. Now Nas and Jay are cool today. So, but they did have beef back then. And Irv was very, let's say, aggressive in the sense of thinking what a great deal it would be for Murder Inc. and himself to have Nas on Murder Inc. Irv wants iconic shit. He didn't want to just do anything regular. I don't know how to explain that better. He didn't want normal stuff. He wanted to be iconic in hip hop with every decision he made. And he thought it would be iconic to have the chance to produce and make records with Nas, like he did with a Jay, a Ja, DMX. He feels that was the hardest part to getting artists signed with Murder Inc. He compared them to these guys. Yeah. And Nas, he was like, I could do it. Like, something amazing with Nas. Like, Irv was a hip-hop purist. Like, he loved hip-hop. I love it. He knew it, but he knew it better, if that makes sense. He knew hip-hop better than me. And I love hip-hop. And I have no problem saying that. Irv was amazing with hip-hop, man. It's like, so to have the chance to do something with Nas, I could only imagine what might have happened. So it's one of those things that just never came to fruition. you know, when you hear that one record Nas did make with us was called The Pledge. He's pledging allegiance to Murder Inc. And we thought for sure we had it. We didn't write his song, right? He wrote his words and they created this record and that was it. Let's go. Yeah. One of those what's it, the cat that got away.
Yeah.
But Irv was very excited, and he definitely didn't know, but he was optimistic Jay would understand it. And I don't think he did.
So in the same respect, because you mentioned Jay-Z, you mentioned DMX, you mentioned Ja.
Yeah.
There was talk at one point of a supergroup, and that didn't happen.
That was Irv's again. When he had all three artists, even though they were separate, he wanted to make that group. That was something me and him talked about many times. And he wanted to go, so when he finally formed it, or thought he had it formed, again, they all had said yes, and he thought he had it formed. He was taking Swiss Beats. He wasn't going to just be the only producer. He wanted Swiss Beats, that's DMX, right? He wanted Just Blaze, that was Rockefeller, and himself. And he was like, we'll go out, we'll take like 40 beats, 30, 40 beats from us, 10, 10, 10 or whatever, from each producer, go to Jamaica for a month and make an incredible album with all of the artists. I can only imagine the songs that would have been made with that mindset, with those producers. And like Irv wasn't trying to just take it. He's like, nah, we all family, let's go. And that's how he wanted to present it. But again, they did the magazine. I don't know if you remember that cover with Ja X and Ja on it. And that was supposed to be the birth of the supergroup. And then it was a third split up between Rough Riders, Rockefeller, and Murder Inc. Everything was initially agreed on, and then in the 12th hour, Rockefeller pulled out. Said they want more. They didn't pull out, they want more, but wanting more means no. Yeah. That's the same as saying no. It was a third, and that's it. Keep it clean, simple. And when they said that, then, you know, X was like whatever, Jay said whatever, you know, everyone said cool until then all of a sudden they came back and said it's not fair. And that was that.
That would have been a moment. I can only imagine, like, not
and
just the album.
See what you're saying? That would have been a moment. That's iconic shit. Yeah. That's what everyone wanted.
The tour, the stories I've heard. I remember Jay telling this story about following X after a performance. Yeah. Where the crowd, he just had the crowd. And
but see, this is the late Jay. This isn't the date Jay in the moment. Yeah. It was a big deal. Yeah. He talked to my brother about a lot of that. I'm privy to that. It's a big deal. Because he, as we would say, he felt it. He was getting tore up, right? And he knew it. He felt it. And Irv helped revamp his set and how to come out and what to do. It is what it is. You can't change the reality of things, man. You know? It is what it is. But he knew it, and he also seen the effect of the artist that Irv created with X and the monster that X became. Yeah. Shout out DMX, man.
To this day, one of my favorite rappers. Like I remember seeing Irv tell the story of him basically like just championing X and a lot of people not getting him. But him seeing the vision.
You know, it was one of DMX's reasons he loved Irv so much. More than regular, because he found out Irv quit as A&R at Def Jam at the time, his job, because they didn't understand DMX. Irv comes, like we was there, I'm in the meeting when he did it, he went to the board, puts the triangle up, puts a 5, DMX, and he starts playing his music. And they're laughing at him after they played it because X is barking and it's very dark. It's, you know, X's music was different compared to anyone else's music in that moment. You got to go to the moment. Don't think about afterwards. It was the first time you're hearing someone talk and rap the way he's rapping, you know, and then he's barking on it, and they was like, "Who's gonna buy his records?" A Chihuahua. I'll never forget this shit. And like they were clowning her. Irv told them, "You don't fucking know this culture like me. You don't understand it like me. Fuck you." And he left. And back in Hollis, Queens, we go. Leo started coming to Hollis, Queens to come get Irv. Like,
and he was right.
You don't have to talk to no one but me. And that's what made Irv say, "Fuck it, I'll do it." But he quit because of DMX. And that's how strongly he understood his music, like in the culture, the need of it for the culture. Irv would always say, X is speaking for the have-nots. He's talking from the bottom. He's talking for the guys that don't have anything. I know he told Jay one time, he said, not Jay, Puffy, he told him, hold your head, Diddy. He said, "You're speaking to the top of the people." He said, "I can't do that. I'm going down where we from, the bottom, and had X." Just think, I tell people all the time to just think how much Irv's influence is in his culture. Puffy had the Locks. Go ahead and listen to that. Go look at their albums, their visuals. He had them in suits. The Locks. He had them in suits, yo. Irv was like, fuck out of here. So as soon as Irv seen all of that, and he takes X, because D&Y, Rough Riders, he signed the Rough Riders, but X was a wild boy. And Irv took him, and he's like, Gotti, keep him away from us. We're going to kill him. That's D&Y telling Irv, keep X away. So he went and started grabbing X and making a couple records here and there, and shaped his vision, or where we're, like, the landscape, where X is going to fit. And he was polar opposite of Diddy, because he was like, you talking to the wrong people. I want to talk to my people, the bottom. And that's where we was going. That's why the X starts that record, Get At Me, Dog. Go look at the video. It was a soundbite Irv made sure was there. And what does X say? Let's take it back to the streets, motherfucker. That was because he's really directly looking at Diddy, trying to, look, Diddy is family. This is all family. Like all of the X, Rough Riders, Rockefeller, Murder Inc., Bad Boy, we're all one, even though we're in a competitive business. And we understood that. And Diddy's winning. And Irv's mindset is, if in order to win, I can't outshine Diddy.
Yeah.
He's going to win at that.
So you're going to outstreet him.
But he can't come down at the bottom with us. And he had the king, X, to do it, right? And he did it, man. Those first two albums was written. That's all old music. He didn't rewrite nothing. It was all old music. We already had we already knew all those songs. So the first two albums, Dark as Hell is Hot, and what's the other one? Blood something, I can't remember. I'm bad with titles and names and stuff, but those two albums was made already. It was like they was written already. It's not like X had to go do some new writing and shit. Very limited stuff on each album of new. That's how we had it. I heard him. Irv, I remember when Irv would bring me X's shit, and he was like, "What you think?" I was like, "Man, this shit is crazy." But my question is, are they gonna fuck with this shit? And so, and Irv was constantly like, yeah, like a mad scientist. Irv, I always call him Dr. Frankenstein, because he's a mad scientist, man. Irv's crazy.
So if not for his conviction and his belief, we would probably never have.
Oh, for sure. Like, I won't say never, but the industry, if you're A&R or an executive in the industry that has the power at that time to bring something in, I'll let you tell me, what did they bring in that was so different? They don't stray outside the box they're put in.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, and I tell people this all the time because most artists don't understand. Oh, I gave him a music. He might have loved your shit, but he might think he'll get fired for fucking with it.
Yeah.
And no one's risking their job to go out on that limb. Irv risked his job. That's why X, when he found that out, X was like so emotional because he said, no one ever did that for me. No one ever risked themselves for me. He couldn't believe Irv did that for him. And that's a fact. And that was made Irv and his relationship so special, in my opinion. Right? I thought that was the over-the-top fact for Irv and X.
So, following DMX and fast forwarding to what I would call, or I would say became like just the signature sound of Murder Inc.
The Murder Inc. sound.
Yeah, the melodies and the music,
the big hooks.
You guys had
melodic
the hooks.
Flows and
you guys had the hooks.
Oh yeah, Josh, shout out Josh, the best in the game, man. Period.
Yeah. Like how did you guys make that transition to that sound? Like, because it wasn't a very specifically like East Coast thing.
Nah, we made that album in LA. The best, music, records is made with music and words. And when the marriage of those things come together, it makes something special. The marrying of the music with the word is what makes records hits. And that album is 336. That's the birth of the Murder Inc. sound. That is the birth of the Murder Inc. sound. And it was the start of the wave. Because Vin Vici rules still hardcore the way he rapped. Even though Holla Holla is different, it wasn't the Murder Inc. sound. It was just a different sounding track. That beat was crazy. It was just, you know what I mean? And Rule married words to that beat. See, that's what he did, which started his career. That single, he married that beat with his word. And another one of my favorite stories is the making of that record. But, when you get to how that sound came about, in my opinion, I'm crazy. In my opinion, it's a couple facts. L.A., first time all of us is out in L.A. in a major way. We're out there, bought a house up in the hills, and we're out there living in L.A. Second one is, because L.A. vibe is different than New York vibe.
Yeah.
So we're taking in their culture. The second one is, I'm going to say, it was drugs, ecstasy. It was the birth of these guys taking X. I never took drugs, but it's the birth of, let's say, Ja. He's the one making me. He took some X. It made him write different. It made him rap different. Made him feel different. And it left from. I make that comparison because the first album, Vin Vici, was weed and Hennessy. Okay, the second album, 336, it was weed, VSOP, wasn't Hennessy, it was the VSOP, Remy Ma, right? That's the Remy VSOP, and ecstasy. And that changed the way the word, that melodic flows and everything, I believe was birthed inside of that. And it was also another part that I'll say it was DMX. Ja, even though he started X, if you go back in time, X is with Ja. And when we're on Blunt Records, right? And Ja has a deal, X doesn't, so no one could ever say X was first and Ja's taking the sound, but they do have similar sound voices. But they don't rap the same. Their topics are not the same. Nothing is the same except for their voices are similar because it's that gruffy, raspy, whatever you want to call it, sound. And Ja was very conscious because he started getting a lot of complaints or saying he sounds like X. And again, to his credit, Ja's a fucking unbelievable artist, man. To his credit, he started making these big hooks. X doesn't make these kind of songs. And it was that separation. They're family, they're all family, but no one wants to say, you sound like me or you're taking my, no one wants to hear that ever. So he made his pivot. And the only thing you could say to this day now is they just have the same voice, sounding voice, but the music is totally different.
The sing rap combination, like that, like now it's very commonplace. Like everybody does it.
Would you say that Ja birthed that?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No one ever says it.
Yeah.
But Ja birthed that.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not saying Ja's the originator because Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
You know, they did it their way. It was just a different version of it.
But Ja, even if you won't give him ownership of creating it or however you want to play that game, he perfected it.
Yeah.
He perfected it on a scale of like Murder Inc. owned Summers. There was an entire era built on that style, built on that sound.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I remember the songs. I remember the hits. I remember Ja and J-Lo. I remember Ja and Ashanti. Like there were moments no one could like, regardless of how you feel about it, you can't really deny facts.
It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times.
So
it's all good.
Yeah, building that out. Ja in this space where like you guys have this sound and you're building it out. I'm gonna pivot for a second. That actually reminds me of a story because like I feel like that Murder Inc. sound that kind of created moments for other people too. One of my favorite songs at the time was "What's Love" with Fat Joe.
Yes.
And he told that story about how Irv reached out and threw him that song while he was like, dealing with the things he was dealing with.
Yeah.
That was the Murder Inc. sound. You had Ashanti on the hook. Like you guys created moments.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We was hot. That's all you could say. We was hot. We had an incredible team. And I mean, we could literally crank out so much music. It was unbelievable. We had so many talented players. Shout out Chink. So many talented producers that I had lined up with Irv. And with Irv's vision and his visionary ideas of what he thinks of sound, sonically, his knowledge in the space of hip hop, I mean, you couldn't imagine how much music he could create with the team he had. And it was just, we would just go to studios and just make hit records. It was really crazy. Irv's magic. And we would always say, they would say, where's the track? Because they want to, and Irv would like, we want to hear, no. Pay us the money, we're coming. That's it. And we're the magic. Irv would always tell everyone, I'm the magic. Let's go. Like, I'm the one that's going to make that record. Once we hear the vibe, everything, we're going to make the hit. And that's what we did. We was going there with the producer and give them the ideas. Next thing you know, they got the track. It's time to go.
And you guys were doing all this, and then at a certain period, while balancing and dealing with like these like incredible, I guess you wouldn't look at them as obstacles or problems, but you guys were dealing with like these legal things and all this.
That's a problem. That's an obstacle. Again, ignorance, right? Ignorance was we didn't do anything. Nothing's gonna happen. I never thought we was going to trial. I thought they raided our office and said we're under investigation. For 2.5 years under investigation before they could figure out a case to put forward to even present inside, in the courtroom. I thought for sure it was just going to disappear. Nothing. my ignorance was not realizing you got to pay, even though you're on investigation, for legal fees, because all the government is doing is just sending us stuff that has to get corresponded to by legal. I had a big firm, and the money is huge, and 2.5 years of just legal bills was crazy. It's crazy. And we just kept paying and paying and paying. Before we was charged with a crime, I never knew you. I didn't think you had to have a lawyer without being charged with a crime, and we did. Again, ignorance, and we're just going through it, looking like it's nothing, like moving like it's nothing, but it's really something. Hindsight is probably better. We looked at it like it was nothing, though.
Yeah.
You know, and it worked out. God, it worked out the way it's supposed to. God didn't want us in trouble like that.
Post trial, what did Murder Inc. look and feel like after the dust settled?
Nothing. You know, how about this? We win our trial and we don't have our deal. We didn't get a deal back in 2007. We went in 2005. A year and a half it took before we got a deal. The game is rigged, guys. Don't ever let no one tell you it's not. They didn't want niggas like us running a label with the power we had ever again. You'll never see another label like us, or like Rockefeller, or like Bad Boy, or like Rough Riders ever again.
Yeah.
All the companies is camouflaged. They will not do that. They will not do that.
I mean, current landscape of music now, it's not a lot of black executives or.
You know, look, the best that ever did it is Cash Money. From shout out Baby Slim, amazing. Best that ever did it. Period. Don't even look at no one else. It's not even close. The numbers they posted up, the length of time they've now been inside of the game with hits still and relevancy, it's not even close, bro. I'm easily giving it up. No problem. The reality is they're not like we are in a sense. Universal runs most of their shit there. Now, they got the control, but we have full control, right? We had our own team. We walked in and handed them projects and said, this is what you're doing. You know, Mello Winter and those guys over there, they running that shit for Cash Money, assuring that win because they are a cash machine. But they are the best that ever did it. So I'm not sliding them anything, but we're built different. We was designed different, right? And they're still up and not running, you know, in that capacity still. But just think, they got Drake, Nicki, Wayne.
Yes, it's hard to beat.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Juvie was a monster when it was Juvie's turn.
Yeah.
Shout out Juvie, yo.
Hot Boys, they had
300?
multiple eras. Yeah.
300 Degrees? Come on, man. You know how you know they was fucking on fire? Jay-Z did a remix for the Juvie record.
Yeah.
On fire. But, you know, at the end of the day, again, when I look at the design of a label, you know, we had our own marketing team. We had our own radio promotional team, Murder Inc. So it's different than, you know, if you're using their people. Because when you use their people, they get to control things a little bit more.
So you made the transition post Murder Inc. into Adventures Music Group.
Yeah, post-mortem. I'm just making sure I got the right timeline. But yes, that was one of my first things I did. I wanted to create a platform for independent artists so they could own, operate, and monetize their business themselves, and teach them and educate them on the problems that are out here. That for an independent artist, what a record label does, because as an independent, you're just a micro record label. But it's a lot of moving parts to run a record label. So I don't expect most people to know how to do that.
And you provide that in between.
I provide that service. Again, you talk to real people, you get that, and we have distribution where your music's on all platforms, so it's no problem.
How does that approach differ to what was happening over at Murder Inc. in terms of distribution? Marketing?
Well, you're funny. See, Murder Inc. is a record label. Let's not use Murder Inc. Just say a record label, any record label, Universal, Warner, Sony, versus an independent. You own everything as an independent. They own everything as a label. Big difference. So, but they paid for that ownership, right? They put up X amount of money because they want to invest in you as an artist to market, promote your name, your image, your likeness, to make money and sell your records, that intellectual property, that IP. They want your IP. That's what they invested in. You know, people look at that. I hear all that talk today about ownership. Dude, I'll tell you, pay the cost to be the boss, bro, and stop crying. What I mean by that is, yes, ownership, yes, okay, but if someone puts up the money to make you into this person,
what's owed to them?
Excuse me?
I said, at that point, what's owed to them?
Let's take it out of music.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's take it out of music. You're a chef. You're a chef. And I say, you say you want a restaurant. You got no money. I put up all the money for the restaurant. Am I giving you the restaurant? Am I not owning that restaurant? What, you tell me. Now, there's a partnership there. We'll figure out the points. That's all the label deal is. The stronger you are, the more points you get, the more equity of that project, so you'll get ownership of the. Again, maybe because restaurants, food. I remember my boy Stratus. Shout out Stratus. Stratus is in Downpool. They own like Brooklyn Chop House. But Stratus said, because if you remember Mr. Chow, he created Philippe Chow. And Philippe Chow was basically the same menu. And he said, you can't patent a peanut sauce. Because they had the same peanut sauce for the chicken satay. And it's the same thing, like in a restaurant, like you can't patent the food. But in music, you can patent the song. So it's a different equity of ownership because of that.
And I would say in that case, and if we're leaning into the whole chef owner investor thing, who's more integral to the success of the restaurant at that point? Is it the chef? Is the chef replaceable, or is it the person who built?
You can't replace food, good quality food. You can't have shitty food and think you're gonna be successful in the restaurant business. I don't know it exists. I don't know. Maybe there is a shitty food place and it had a different atmosphere and ambiance, right? I'm going to say that. But the majority is not. It's the quality of food. It's the service. People go for the service and all of those things for a restaurant. So if we switch and say music, I don't know any whack records that win. But I heard shitty records that did well. Why? The marketing that was spent, the money, right? All of those things to put them in different magazines and to get the awareness of them. People always say, if you play the record enough on the radio, you end up liking it.
Yeah.
You never heard that? See?
That's a fact.
Okay. Well,
it's not even liking it as much as
payola, but you gotta pay.
Yeah. You beat someone over the head with something enough times, it's like, it gets
costs money.
Yeah.
So if I did that for you, the artist now, if I never did that, you'd never be that artist.
Yeah, I should get a return on my investment.
You know? How many independent artists have great music and they can't pop off? Because they're missing that part of the machine. You know, those relationships that machine has that churns into a hit, a star, a career.
Do you
and
feel
then
like
you
that?
want to say, no, I should have everything. It's a little. It's
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's a little greedy.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm for the independent artists. So my job of educating them is to tell them, remember, you say you're an independent. All right, look up the word independent. It's all you. Don't ask me to put up money. Don't ask me. But what I'm doing is facilitating my relationships for you. So, but it costs. You want these relationships? It costs. There's a price you got to pay. Nothing's free. I can't make them give it to you free. It's not my business. That's their business. I just have the relationship. All I know is if they say they're going to do X, Y, Z, you're going to get X, Y, Z for your money. Because I vet them out to make sure first before they're on my platform.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for? I tell all independent artists you can only ask to be seen and heard. If they help you get seen and heard, it's not my fault whether someone likes it or not. They have to like your music now. It's on you. You got to look in the mirror and say, man, I got to make another record. I got to do better. You know?
Yeah.
It's a real gut check for myself from an independent artist standpoint. You got to really be able to check your own self.
So what do you say to the artists who at that point, once they've blown up, because I mean we've seen those conversations that now after seeing success, and I'm just pivoting based off of the conversation we're having.
Sure.
They've seen success and now they're like, okay, I wanna move on. I wanna move on from my manager. I wanna move on from my situation or my label or whatever.
What about it? They could look. If they think the grass is greener across the street, they're gonna move. I tell management, it's the worst job to me as a manager. And what do I mean? It's a loveless job. Managers could do everything for that artist, and the artist could still think they deserve more. That's the facts. That's a fucking terrible place to be. And when you talk about a new artist, they have no leverage or power, and that manager could be out fighting for them everywhere. But because there's no movement, the artist thinks they're not doing enough. They don't have the best relationships. I tell every independent artist, if you have a person that loves you, believes in your music, and they're managing you, don't leave that person. That person's gonna run through every wall for you. They're gonna take 1,000 no's and still keep going. And if you don't have that, you don't have the right manager. Especially at the beginning, infant stage, when you're just starting with no leverage.
So what would you say then, because of your pivot, you must have seen value in the space. What are the advantages to being a independent artist versus being under label? Obviously, the label has all the money and the resources.
Well, it depends. When you say that, there is no advantage if you're a brand new artist with no success, independent artist. Because the worst artist signed to a label receive some money. So they're already up ahead, and they have an infrastructure that's going to help work them, that has relationships, real relationships. Until you're an independent with some type of stature, it's like not even a comparison. If you could get a deal, you're ahead of the game. Just remember, if you did get a deal and you wanted to be independent, there's no deal that lasts forever. Just structure your deal so you know your exit. If you're that sure you're going to be amazing. And then when you get to that exit point, it's now to make another decision. What are they going to put on the table versus exiting? And how are you going to do it without this machine that helps you get there? You know, don't be oblivious to the facts of what got you there.
Yeah.
You know, and what they did, their contribution to your success. Because a lot of artists start thinking it was just them.
Yeah.
Again, it's just the nature of the beast. You know, until there's a system for independent artists to have, which I'm building, Adventure Music will be that. Just, it's a lot of barriers that they put up to block us.
That case in point was one of the reasons we built out Pillars as a platform, because of basically all the people who aren't seen, or all the people in the background that basically make something possible, make all the moments you see possible. When you see an artist go up and they accept an award, there are dozens of people who were part of making that happen that don't really get listed or mentioned or anything.
Yeah, that's part of this whole issue.
Yeah.
You know, but it's an independent. The reality is, there's millions of independent artists today.
Yeah.
We have Sony, Warner Brothers, Universal. Those are three majors and a bunch of subsidiary labels underneath those brands. It's not enough. They can't sign even 1% of those artists that are out here that are independent. Not even 0.5%. Not even 1/4% of all the artists that are out here could be signed on a label. It's just too many. They wouldn't be able to make it all happen. It's too many. So you're talking about fractions and fractions of a percent, right? That could get a job and get signed by a record label. So independent artists have to figure out how to do it without a label. It's just the numbers. Without them doing that, there's nothing else. They have nothing else.
So speaking of independent and staying in the vein of that, you have Arc Films. You recently launched, and congratulations
thank you.
On the film, I
Ballin'.
believe it's Ballin', that you just
yeah.
is available now on Tubi for everyone to check out.
Yes, it's on Tubi. We do it really well. Lance Stevenson's my lead. You know, I gave a lead to Ever, my director. He's first time film directing and did an amazing job. Brenda Paulino, another first timer. Rebecca Beaumont, another, again, incredible actress. She's had work and Trey Chaney and Safari. I gave Safari, amazing cast. Had an incredible time doing it. And I'm now a filmmaker. I got a bunch of films coming up that will be released. Spanish Fly. Shout out Don De Niro and Oscar. Man, they have this film that we just finished. It's being edited. That'll be out. It's like a Cheech and Chong type film comedy called Spanish Fly. We're shooting a film right now called Raffle out in Florida. I'm shooting another film in Florida called not Night Shift. Night Shift is coming out. We just finished that. That's a like a horror film in a strip club. It's kind of crazy.
Horror film in a strip club sounds crazy.
Well, it's a suspense killer thing in the strip club. And, Chair for No Evil, we're shooting that right now in Florida. We have Cuzzo 2, should be wrapped in another couple days in Florida. Florida's been my location right now. I have the Supreme documentary coming out, The Supreme Truth. Shout out Supreme. With Michael Payton and Luke Steffen. They did an amazing job with that. That's going to be out. You could go actually get it on, oh man, I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's PrinceMillerNYC.com. And you could get The Supreme Truth out right now. It's an amazing documentary on Supreme and why he was, what he went through, the trials and tribulations he's been through, and the way the government treated him, and he should be free. He's not in on wrong charges, is like that he didn't do, and it's just bad. And this is a documentary to prove all of these things and to talk about it. When you're in that federal system, and you had a prior. He had a prior. He was, makes no mistake about it, he was a kingpin. In the 80s. He gets locked up in I think in the 2000, early 2000, I forget what year. After he already converted, made a movie, tried to get his life together, do everything, and they wouldn't let it happen. And to get 12 people in that system, in that Southern District of New York, to say not guilty, like they did for me and my brother, is with
Yeah.
no records.
Yeah.
We have 0 records.
Against the feds is
It's like, nah. It's like the game is rigged.
what made you make that transition into film? I know there were film projects before with Irv, or TV projects with Irv.
Oh yeah, Irv finished the film before his passing. He has a film called Made in America that'll be out soon with Fabio Foreign in it. It's fire. But the transition is a natural progression, in my opinion, from once you're in music. Actually, to go into film is kind of, it makes sense for me. I made an incredible soundtracks. So the Ballin' soundtrack's amazing. Lance Stevenson, Ricky Woods, she killed it. And they got in that studio and they just kept making records. And I was only gonna make like 1 or 2 songs to put in the film, but they just kept making so many. I said, we got a soundtrack, so I just left it. I made great music. It's out right now. You could get that soundtrack. The soundtrack is fire. Ballin' soundtrack. Lance is the Black Drake. Yeah. It's the Black Drake, man. This dude is rapping, he's singing. It's like unreal. You would have never thought. And he's very good. He's very good.
What made you pick him as the lead?
It's a basketball movie, Ballin'. And Lance is like my nephew. I knew Lance since early days. And I asked him one day in the park, I said, do you want to act? You want to be in a movie? He said, hell yeah. So I put him through the whole process of showing him how to act. I had an acting coach and got him there and got him up to speed with his lines. And once he did that, I said, it's time to shoot the movie. And he did an incredible job. Shout out Lance, man. He did an incredible job.
And connecting that film about basketball and your love of basketball to your organization, Clash.
Well, the reality is my partner, I have 2 partners with Arc Films, Andy and Trotter, and Rich, is Dwight Rich Black Walker. Like, he wrote the film. He was pressing me to do this film for probably, man, a good year. And I kept saying, in a minute, I'm not ready yet. Then when he hit me about it, I said, okay, I'm ready. He surprised him. And I got Andy in, and we all got together. And that's where Arc is Andy, Rich, and Chris. That's how Arc films. So, end of the day, the way everything came together was like magic. And my first film that I was part of, that I basically was start to finish, like every part of it, I was there. I'm part of it, Great experience. And like I said, I got at least 6 more coming. So 2026, you're going to see a lot of Arc films.
And I think that goes to what you said in the beginning of our conversation, where you're like, when you focus on what you're good at, all of these things just come.
Again, I have a great team.
Yeah.
A movie is a perfect example of how you need a team. I have an incredible team, staff, cast. You got to get the right actors, then you got to get all of the crew members that could do the work, the behind the scenes stuff. I had incredible, my editor 7. I mean, like Ever and his production crew, Santiago, all of them. I mean, great. They just put it together, and we made, we made a great film. We won the film festival, the Urban Film Festival. We won the award for the Urban Film Best Picture for that. So again, that's all independent films in that Urban Film Festival. So that was a shock. I wasn't there. I was traveling at the time, but Rich was there, and he called me. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I couldn't believe it. But they rated us and gave us the Film of the Year award.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Best Picture of the Year. And that Ballin', like you said, it led me, I own a basketball league, Clash Pro League. We had an incredible year last year. And this year's coming up. We'll be looking to start in March for season 2. I'm currently raising money. So if you're an investor out there and you want to be in basketball, I promise you, I got it.
Now's the time.
I got it. But we are raising money on the basketball league as well. But we have a great time. I got incredible partners from Fat Joe, Kendrick Perkins, Baron Davis. All of these people are involved in the league. And I'm talking currently to Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, and Kevin Durant. I'm sure I'll get them in. And once that happens, sky's the limit.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I want to thank you, one, for coming to sit down with me,
Sure.
but also for just your contribution to culture and like so many moments. I don't know if anyone's ever said this, but you know, Murder Inc. I could tie the music to moments in my life, and I want to thank you for
Man,
you know,
thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I get that. I get so many fans or people that come up to me, and they say exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly. They say, "You're the soundtrack of my life."
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you all for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks again for watching Pillars One of One. It's been an honor to host Chris Gotti,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.